Well, Charlotte's book helped me a lot, and particularly in terms of the other characters who I knew less about than Bill, obviously. Um, but but Bill Haskell actually, my character wrote a book as soon as he left the Klondike, and it's been out of print for about 100 years, and I luckily managed to find a copy on the internet, and read it, and it's Bill's voice, it's his own words, and that was really useful for me, just in terms of, because it's almost like a manual at points. He lists in detail the exact things that he carried and why he'd carry it, and then telling snippets of his story, just which Charlotte pulls from in her book as well. But I've read Bill's book a couple of times to really teach me about what life was like for him directly. And it taught me a lot. It taught me about this place, and something actually that I learned mostly about Bill's book. And because, the Klondike, and when I first got the job and I'm researching it, and it's such a hard place for people to live, and it's hard men and women that got there, and people do die, and it is a killer. But actually, one of the biggest things that stands out from Bill's book is the kindness of people, the kindness of human beings. They looked after one another so much. That was something that was so beautiful, actually, when I look at what this place is and the things that Bill's character goes through, and all the other characters go through. And I always remind myself of how much good that there was there. Sam's, fantastic actor. He's always bringing something different and unique. And I remember reading that part of that character, and what Sam's bringing to it is very, very different in a lot of ways to how I pictured it, and actually better in a lot of ways. He's brought this cold edge to him that is there in the script, but when you read it, you kind of see that inherently that man is a good man, and Sam's brought in these elements where you realise that he's done bad things before and he is harder, but his drive at this point is the goodness in the world, and I think Sam's doing an excellent job of that. For me, working with Abby is an absolute dream. It's every day. We're very alike, I think, in a lot of ways, in our kind of dedication to finding the subtleties and to listening to each other in the scene, which is is really difficult sometimes. Actually, you can work with a lot of actors where that's more difficult. Me and Abby have built up a really great relationship, and their relationship in the show is so complicated, from the suspicion of her at the start, from her almost coldness towards me, to us relying on each other in different ways, to me being completely betrayed and tricked when I thought that's the last person that would do it to me, and then rebuilding that trust. And together they actually go through a lot. Not that it happens together where they're on screen, but in their own separate lives, it's intertwined a lot more than either of them, I think, realise. And Abby's an amazing actor, and it's a pleasure every day coming on set with her.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, because I watch a lot of the stuff on Discovery that's about the gold mining. I quite like all those reality shows, actually. I think Discovery's a really great place for this show, because it is real life. It still happens today. They make shows about people doing what these characters are doing, but today. And I think there's something really unique about this show that has its very own unique tone and feel that I've not even worked out yet, that we're learning day by day. And I suppose that's just like where Discovery's at, in terms of this is the first time they've made something and they're learning day by day. And there's a lot of trust. You can work with lots of other networks, and they put their stamp on things and really force it, whereas this feels like a really collaborative working relationship where we're finding it together, and that's rare for me as an actor to be part of that. And I'm loving working with Discovery. For me, this is a lot harder than working on Game of Thrones, and I think Game of Thrones is such a huge cast that I'm not I'm not in every single day or in so many scenes. So, and this is a matter of time and juggling a lot more characters, because Bill's character comes in and out of all the other characters' lives in one way or another, whereas Robb Stark is very much on a mission within his own part of the kingdoms, and doesn't really interact with a lot of people out with that. So huge differences there, just in terms of the weight that's on Bill's character and driving the story. And a character like Rob Stark, a lot of things happen more so now in season 3, where he's the one driving the action and pushing things forwards, and we have Bill Haskell here who's reacting a lot of the time to things happening around him, and he's desperately trying to survive.